Okay, so in this video, we are going to be talking to you about the Delhi Sultanate. So, the Delhi Sultanate existed in what is now India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and for the most part of its existence, it existed in northern India. It existed for about 320 years, from 1206 to 1526, and there were 5 dynasties that ruled it. There are only 4 shown here. And it expanded to the south and to the west before its borders shrank, and its capital was sacked by Timur, and it was eventually annexed by the Mughal Empire, which replaced it. So its rulers were initially of Turkic origin. They were African Muslims who raided various states in northern India. And once they captured the cities of Lahore and Delhi, they set up a new sultanate. So the sultanate began attacking other smaller states that did not unify and could not repel the attacks, and eventually it was recognized by the caliphate as a Muslim sultanate. Now, the conquered areas were, the people there were enslaved and sometimes killed as well. So the rulers of the Sultanate were Muslim, and the ruled people, their subjects, were mostly Hindu. So the rulers were quite repressive towards other religions, and they are part of the reason for why Buddhism is no longer prevalent in India. They did, however, build very many Islamic structures, like this minaret that's shown here. It's a very famous minaret. So, until the 5th dynasty, the rulers were mainly Turkic. The 5th dynasty was African. So, they used repressive terror techniques rather than tolerance to keep the Hindu population in check. And, however, they did try to incorporate Hindus into their administration, as well as marry some Hindus from prominent families. However, these brides had to convert to Islam.
So the Sultan Razia ruled India from 1236 to 1240. She was the first Muslim woman to rule India in the Delhi Sultanate. She defeated her brother in 1236 after 7 months into his rule, which is how she came into the throne. She set up proper law and order under her rule, and she tried to improve infrastructure. She encouraged trade and the building of roads and wells. She established schools and libraries, and she was the only woman to be crowned the Delhi Sultanate. She was one of the most powerful rulers in the Delhi Sultanate. So this is about Uddin Khaliji. He was one of the most powerful sultans of the Delhi Sultanate, and he belonged to the Khaliji dynasty. He had the throne in 1296. He had to face Mongol attacks during his ruling. He started conquests after he came into the throne in North and South India. He took many steps to make administration stricter by banning drinking alcohol and enforcing the need to ask the Sultan permission to do anything or go anywhere. He was dethroned by the governor of Punjab, Ghazi Malik. So the Delhi Sultanate lasted from 1206 to 1526. So Timur attacked the Delhi Sultanate at the end of the 15th century, and it was weakened, in which it was replaced by the Mughals. The Delhi Sultanate conquered India by force, so it didn't have a strong relationship with its citizens, and so once the empire became too vast to be controlled, the citizens helped to defeat it, and then the Mughals came in. So the effects on India after the Delhi Sultanate was gone includes most of the Turkish people converted to Islamic religions. It introduced extensive new water control systems, and so that and architecture influenced later buildings and later architecture such as the Taj Mahal. Muslim and imperialism ideas influenced the Mughal Empire, and the trade affected the Swahili coast in Africa.
For the politics, many of the sultans and the Delhi Sultanate would rely heavily on taxes. such as in farmers, and taxing half of their earnings, and not just currency, but also on what they make, such as crop, food, and all this good stuff, to help upkeep with their empire. The taxes were so high, it would tax up to 50%. So just imagine making like a whole field of tomatoes and then having to lose half of those tomatoes to give up to your government. The citizens were greatly separated, such as the nobles and people who constantly have to work to put food on the table. The nobles, and especially in the KJL dynasty, will have the nobles separated so that they couldn't question the sultans. The Indo-Islamic architecture is when you think of Indian architecture, which would consist of 2 or even more 4 huge columns or towers surrounding the structure, or one huge or many domes that would surround the structure. This the Indian, this still affects the Indian today. And Ptolemaish is perhaps one of the founders of Delhi Sultanate. He was considered a conqueror, for he would conquer many of India, and he would annex any land that he thought he saw as an opposing force to his rule.